Bruce's strength was not about bulky muscles or gym showmanship.
His power came from a combination of functional strength, explosive fast-twitch muscle fibers, tendon conditioning, and total body integration. In his training, Bruce focused on developing what he called kinetic linking, meaning that every punch and kick wasn't just powered by one muscle but by the coordination of his entire body, from the ground through his core, shoulders, and finally through his fists or feet. This is why his punches, even though he was small, carried such shocking impact. His famous one-inch punch was not magic, it was biomechanics taken to the highest level.
Training like no one else in his era. To understand Bruce's strength, we also need to consider his training methods.
In the 1960s and 70s, most martial artists focused only on their techniques, repeating forms or sparring without thinking much about physical conditioning.
Bruce broke the mold.
He combined martial arts training with bodybuilding principles, Olympic-style lifts, isometrics, cardiovascular conditioning, flexibility drills, and speed training. He was one of the first martial artists to recognize that strength training and endurance work were just as important as practicing punches and kicks. For instance, Bruce often did heavy barbell squats, deadlifts, bench presses, and clean hand press movements. He also developed his core strength to an insane level. His ab workouts were brutal, involving hundreds of repetitions of dragon flags, sit-ups, and twisting movements. His philosophy was simple: a fighter needed a complete body that was fast, explosive, and conditioned to endure. This holistic approach made him decades ahead of his time, and many modern fighters today train in a way that Bruce himself pioneered. Comparing Bruce Lee to today's fighters, the physical dimension. Now, let's compare Bruce Lee's strength to the athletes of today. Fighters in the UFC, One Championship, and boxing divisions train under highly advanced systems.
They have world-class strength and conditioning coaches, sports scientists, and nutritionists. They use data to measure their heart rates, muscle recovery, and even striking force. Athletes today in weight classes similar to Bruce, like bantamweight or featherweight fighters, possess incredible endurance, knockout power, and elite-level grappling ability. So, could Bruce match their raw physicality? The truth is, yes and no. If Bruce were suddenly dropped into today's MMA scene exactly as he was in the 1970s, he might lack the specialized conditioning for full-contact cage fighting. However, if Bruce had access to the same modern training methods, science, and supplements, it's almost certain that he would adapt and push himself even further. Remember, Bruce was a perfectionist, obsessed with improvement. He wasn't locked in tradition like many martial artists of his time. He was always experimenting, researching, and optimizing. If modern fighters are FAs,